Hi guys, it's Lynn here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Now today guys, a little bit of an experiment. I have my beautiful Epiphyllum Zig Zag Cactus. That has been blooming beautiful. And links up above to a video when this bloomer was in bud and bloom. And I wasn't going to pollinate the flowers because I'd read somewhere that apparently this particular epiphyllum is self-sterile to its own pollen, and it has to have a completely different zigzag cactus before you can pollinate the flowers. But I don't know how true that is. On some of the forums, some people say no, you can pollinate the flowers. So as I always say, how I found out with a lot of the cactus flowers is purely trial and error, trying it out and see. So I'm going to be pollinating some of the flowers that are still flowering, and I'll do an update on it. If it pollinates and it's a success, I'll make an update video. So it's going to be a bit of an experiment here. And Epiphyllum in general is very easy to pollinate. So if you want to know how to pollinate Epiphyllum flowers, as well as me showing you in this video, where it has definitely been a success, links up above to a video on where I cross-pollinate to my different types of Epiphyllum cacti. And as I say, I've never pollinated this particular epiphyllum before. So this is a completely new experiment. I have no idea if it's going to work, but stay tuned for the update if it does, guys. And before we go any further, I want to give a very special thank you to my wonderful fiancé Hans, who is behind the camera filming me today. So I've got my hands free to pollinate. And if you're not familiar with Hans's channel, please do go over and subscribe. Family of Cactusy and other beauties, links up above. And here we go then, guys. Now when you pollinate cactus flowers, what you want to make sure is that you have a clean brush. You can also use a little cotton wool bud also, whichever you prefer, or little lip brush, paintbrush. These little brushes are little makeup brushes that you can get from a lot of the chemist shops and even the makeup counters. And most important that it's clean, and also you have a bowl to collect the pollen in. And if I was actually cross-pollinating two different types of cacti or epiphyllums, I would actually use two separate brushes so you don't get confused with the pollination. As this is going to be its own type, I'm just using the one brush. But as I say, I've made many pollinating different types of cacti videos, so do check a playlist out. I'll put it on probably up above now and also at the end of this video, so check that out if you grow lots of different types. And as I say, I have no idea if it's going to work, but time will tell. And this has been flowering now for about 2 weeks, and usually these flowers do only last a day or two. But because this particular plant is in the polytunnel, it's kept quite cool, above 5 Celsius, 41 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's what's making the flowers last a lot longer. And you want to make sure this particular flower is on its way out, so it's not a good idea to pollinate that one. This one is completely hung over, so no chance in pollinating that. This one is slightly on its way out, but I still think it's very pollinable, if there's such a word, here. So I'm going to have a go at that one anyway. And also this one here is freshly opened, so this is going to be a very good one to try and pollinate. And also there's another one at the back there. Hans is doing a great job here. This lovely one also here. So what I'm going to be doing is taking pollen from each of these flowers and then putting it onto the stigma of another flower. And the reason being is that a lot of the time the individual flowers can be self-sterile to their own pollen. But if you mix the flowers, you know, there's pollen from this one onto the other flower, it usually is more chance of a success. So as I say, little brush there to collect any pollen. Now what you want to do is gather as much as this pollen here, which you can see, as much as you can on the end of that brush. Saying that as much as you can, you only need a tiny bit, to be honest, because it's a bit like sperm in a human male. You know, the tiny bit can still fertilise. There you go. So that's the pollen there. You can see all on the end of the brush. And then I'm going to bring this pollen then to the other flower, which I'm going to use on here. And what I'm going to be doing then is putting this pollen onto the stigma of this flower. And just gently brushing it on. That's all you have to do. You don't have to go really hard. A tiny little speck of that on this is enough to get this pollinated. And as I say, if I wanted to keep it separate, I'd use two separate brushes, but this is the same. So then I'm going to go again then, is to fully load up the brush again, because it's the same variety, so I don't need to use 2 separate brushes. Load it up here. And it's always good fun to play the bee anyway, even if it doesn't work. It's part of the fun of trying to pollinate cacti. There you go, lots of pollen on that one. I'm going to take it then onto this one. And that's all you have to do. I'm also going to do the same with that one at the end, but I'm not going to film that to keep the video a little bit shorter. And any pollen that falls off there, that's on from the other one there, onto there. And that's it. And only time is going to tell. And usually you'll know when epiphyllum flowers have been a success and they're pollinated, because within a few days, the base here of where the flower emerges from will start to swell up, and it will start to go green and start to form a fruit over the following weeks. But if it's not pollinated, this will quickly just die, just go brown and just fall off within a day or two, a few days anyway. So that's how I'm going to know if it's been a success. So stay tuned for that. And as I say, do check out the other videos I've made on cross-pollinating epiphyllum, and even pollinating on the same variety. Epiphyllum flowers always been a success, and I recently harvested big juicy fruits from my other epiphyllum as well. I think the video may be coming on in a few days time, so stay tuned for that. So always been a success, but this is the first time this plant has flowered for me and Hans, and it's the first time I've pollinated this one, so it's going to be very interesting. And stay tuned, watch this space, as I say. And if you want to see this one how it was flowering just a couple of days ago, there was more of these were sort of open and there's more buds on it. Do check the video out. As I say, the links will all be up above. And guys, if you want to know a little bit more on how to grow epiphyllum cacti, the epiphytes, do check out a video I've made on how to grow epiphyllum cacti. Links also up above. Sorry about all these links, guys, and they'll be at the end of this video as well. And also, if you want to know how to grow cacti and succulents in general, do please check out my website, desertplantsofavalon.com. And guys, I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness, and tons of plant power from across the Emerald Isle. And until the next video, bye. Bye. Beautiful.